Hey guys, it is Dani and welcome to this update video on the tropics. And so in this video we're going to be talking about Hurricane Linda over in the Eastern Pacific, Tropical Depression Fred, which is expected to re-strengthen into a tropical storm, as well as Invest 95L with a high chance to develop and is likely to become our next tropical cyclone by this weekend or probably early next week. And so before I go into details, okay, and so let us kickstart things with Hurricane Linda over in the Eastern Pacific. So as of right now, Linda has sustained winds of 90 miles per hour and it is accelerating to the west-northwest at 13 miles per hour. So fortunately, it is not going to be impacting anywhere much. It's well off the coast of Mexico. So it's just going to be moving out into the open Pacific, and it is expected to peak as a Category 2 hurricane, a high-end Category 2 hurricane, but I wouldn't be surprised if it achieves major hurricane status because it is expected to peak just below that intensity. So any little bit more intensification would be Linda becoming a Category 3 hurricane. And so guys, as I said, fortunately it's not a threat to land and we're expecting weakening to begin by early next week. And so Linda will just really be lingering out in the Pacific. And so now let us hop over into the Atlantic Basin. So let us first talk about Tropical Depression Fred. So looking at the satellite imagery of it right now, we see that the system is quite disorganized. Most of the convection is going off south of the center of the system, which is located just over the north coast of Cuba, and areas as far as Jamaica could be feeling some impacts from the system here. So no devastating impacts are expected from Fred, but as time goes by we are expecting it to re-strengthen, and the places that are really going to be feeling the impacts from the system, really Cuba and of course parts of South Florida, and then we're going to eventually have Fred making his way to the Gulf. So let's look at the cone forecast from the National Hurricane Center. And so we're seeing here that Fred has winds of 35 miles per hour. It is expected to strengthen into a tropical storm later today, and it is accelerating to the west-northwest at 10 miles per hour now. So it's picking up a bit in its acceleration because last night it was moving at 7, so now we have it being at 10. So it is moving a bit faster. And so what you're seeing in yellow is a tropical storm watch that is in effect for sections of western Cuba. And we have a tropical storm warning, which is highlighted in blue, being in effect for Florida Bay, as well as the Florida Keys west of Ocean Reef to the Dry Tortugas. So those areas can expect tropical storm-like conditions from Fred. That includes heavy rainfall, gusty winds, as well as that storm surge as well. So conditions are expected to be quite dangerous, guys. And so if you're in any of those regions, please take necessary precautions and stay safe. And so we also have a tropical storm watch that is in effect for parts of southwestern Florida. And so we're expecting that Fred is going to be really moving parallel to the western coast of Florida and the eastern Gulf of Mexico, where we're expecting some additional strengthening. So it could have peak winds of around 50 miles per hour. So fortunately, as of right now, Fred is not expected to strengthen into a hurricane, but it is going to be making landfall along the Florida Panhandle early next week, maybe very early Monday morning. And so we could see additional watches and warnings being in place between today and tomorrow, guys, because this thing here is really going to be bringing some dangerous impacts. And so let us look at the rainfall potential map for the US. And so we're seeing here that we have the different colors meaning different amounts of expected rainfall. So we have the light green meaning 1 inch, the darker green 2, the yellow 4, the orange 6, and the red means 10. So let us stop right there for now. So we're seeing that we mainly have that darker green, so mainly 2 inches of rain anticipated across areas that are going to be feeling impacts from Fred as it is going to be making its way by. And then we have areas in South Florida that are expected to have up to 6 inches of rainfall from this, and this total here could even be increased. So if you're in South Florida, you could really feel some dangerous impacts from Fred. So as I said earlier, please take all the necessary precautions and stay safe. And so now let us move on to that new disturbance out in the Atlantic. So this is one that is actually quite interesting that we have to talk about here. So it is Invest 95L. This is probably following the footsteps of Fred right here. So it has a high 80% chance to develop into a tropical cyclone, and so it's likely to become a depression probably by the next day or so, with wouldn't even be surprised if it becomes a tropical storm not long after, because environmental conditions are expected to become more and more conducive to aid in the development of the system here. And so now let us go ahead and take a look at it on satellite view. And so we're seeing here that it is getting in shape, getting organized. So once we have that defined center of circulation and winds exceeding 35 miles per hour, we definitely have a tropical depression, and any bit more strengthening would be a tropical storm. And of course, the next name to be used for this season is Grace. And so here we have back-to-back storms for portions of the Caribbean. So it is likely that this is going to be taking a track similar to that of Fred. So if you're in the Lesser Antilles, you want to keep an eye on this. And so tropical storm watches and warnings could be required probably later today, because the system is expected to arrive tomorrow night or probably early Sunday, and is therefore going to be bringing dangerous conditions. So even if it doesn't become a tropical cyclone, it will be bringing tropical cyclone-like conditions to portions of the Lesser Antilles, especially Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the Leeward Islands. In terms of its potential intensity, we see here that we have quite a bit of available models, and so most agree that it will become a tropical storm. Quite a few are showing some gradual strengthening of it becoming a tropical storm, a hurricane, and even up to a major hurricane. We have a few of our models expecting there. And so this isn't impossible, but if we're going to be having the system interacting with land too much, then we're not going to be having much strengthening, because of course it won't be getting that moisture that it needs in order to continue developing. So even though we might have favorable shear, little dry air, then we might not have development or much intensification if the system is going to be moving over a lot of land areas. So we really have to wait and see what the outcome is going to be for this disturbance here. But as of right now, if you are in portions of the Lesser Antilles, especially the Leeward Islands, please take necessary precautions, stay safe, and of course I will keep you guys updated on this as time goes by. And so guys, that is it for this updated video on the tropics. So again, we have Hurricane Linda, not a threat to land, and is expected to peak as a Cat 2. We have our tropical depression Fred expected to strengthen to a tropical storm, and Cuba and Florida are going to be feeling most of the impacts probably for the next day or so. And then we have Invest 95L, or a disturbance that is likely to become our next named storm, Grace, maybe by this weekend or early next week. And so guys, if you found this video to be quite informative, please leave a thumbs up, and you can also share your thoughts in the comments or ask a question. I'll try to respond as best and as soon as I can. And just remember to always be weather wise.